Hello everybody, this is Fernando for Godzilla Movie News. It looks like my newest videos, these dedicated to cryptids and monsters, is starting off to be a good success, so I thought I would introduce yet another video here, this one with a different topic. This one related to the cryptid known as Mongolian Death Worm, which you'll see various artistic interpretations of what this is. Now, the Mongolian Death Worm is supposedly found in the Gobi Desert, and essentially what it is, it's an oversized, segmented worm that can be very deadly, in fact. According to the claims by the Mongolian locals, this is a worm that moves around in the desert. Essentially think of it like a serpent would in the sea, but instead of the sea, it's the sand. And that it rises out of the ground, and when it does so, it spews acid on its target, and that this acid is apparently so poisonous or so acidic that it corrodes and dissolves practically anything it touches, including metal. So if one were to take this claim as being true, know that this would kill your average human being upon contact. And in fact, that's what several Mongolian locals have stated, that they're so fearful of this thing that they don't even touch it at all, because to touch it would mean instant death. And on top of that, apparently this worm has the ability to discharge a form of electricity. So if you happen to run into this Mongolian death worm, it looks like it'll probably stun you with electricity and then spew its acid forward to cripple you down and then start to eat you. So the claims of this Mongolian death worm seem to have existed for quite some time. There's no real date on when these things really started, but apparently it's been going on for decades, if not just a century or two. The earliest reported written actual claim comes in the book called On the Trail of Ancient Man. Apparently the guy that wrote it, Andrews, who was an explorer of sorts, visited the Gobi Desert, and he was able to talk with the Prime Minister there, who, and this is the direct quote from Prime Minister there, stated the following about the Mongolian death worm. He stated, "It is shaped like a sausage, about 2 feet long, has no head nor leg, and it is so poisonous that merely to touch it means instant death. It lives in the most desolate parts of the Gobi Desert." Again, that goes back to the claim that this thing is so deadly that the locals, anybody that touches it, is already going to die soon. Now, there are variations on the Mongolian death worm based on who you talk to. Some locals say that it's only 2 to 5 feet long. Others state that it's much longer than that. It's beyond the size of a python, of course, only much bigger. Others state that it has its own teeth, what you could call teeth on the front, or it has teeth on both the front and the back of its body. Others claim that it has spots. Others claim that it has like colored areas. The most common claim, of course, is that it is reddish, and that's why it's become so distinctive as a color, because anytime these locals claim to see one, they know what it is and they immediately run the other way. Now, regarding this, the habitat of the Mongolian death worm and when it comes out, of course, it lives in the desert, and it only comes pretty much during certain times of the years. Supposedly it comes out mainly when the area is wet, such as recent rainfall, or something else that makes the ground stay wet, at least. This seems to attract the Mongolian death worm. And also, for a little bit of trivia on this part, those that have seen the movie Tremors have actually seen an inspiration from the Mongolian death worm. If you've seen the movie Tremors and you've seen that giant worm that was in the town that was devouring people left and right, it is called the graboid, which in itself came from this concept of the Mongolian death worm. Of course, it wasn't spewing acid within the film, but it had its tentacles. But it was the inspiration of this cryptid that caused the movie Tremors to be made. So, interesting little fact on that. Now, myself personally, if I had to think whether this cryptid was true or not true, I would most likely say that it's not true. Like most things, I imagine that probably somebody saw something, or people continue to see something in the Gobi Desert, but because the humidity, the heat, the ripple effect involving mirages, I think people see sometimes things that they thought were there or looked like something when it really wasn't. And of course, by the time they told their 10th person, and that person tells another 10 people, it goes and becomes so far-fetched that it's not really anything like it was originally was. And I think that's what happened here. The fact that this thing has supposedly existed for decades, if not centuries, and nobody has anything related to photographic proof on there. All there are is just some sound concepts involving artwork. It's easy to believe that this is most definitely just an urban legend. So, anyways, that's my presentation, everybody, on the Mongolian Death Worm. And as soon as I finish another video on another topic, I'll be sure to post it here for everybody. Thank you so much.